The IMF ready to help Venezuela out of its financial difficulties. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Thursday, March 7. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Ricardo Roberts. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, has indicated that it is ready to rescue Venezuela's ailing economy. But Managing Director Christine Lagarde says the task will be so huge that it will need financial help from other international players. Now, Lagarde told The Economist Radio on Thursday that as soon the body is asked by the legitimate authorities of that country to help, they will go in. She added that the amount of financing needed by the country would be significant, but she did not provide a precise amount. Meantime, the IMF has not made a decision on recognizing a new government in Venezuela. Last month, opposition leader Juan Guaido declared himself interim president and has received the backing of several countries, including the United States, who wants President Nicolas Maduro to step down.
A monumental job on our hands, because this is a country that has not opened its door to the IMF for the last 15 years. So we have not conducted any of the annual audit that we do on all our members in the institution. So there is a lot of due diligence that we're going to have to do in a very expedited manner.
The economy of the oil-rich nation has shrunk by more than half since 2013, according to IMF data. Now, Lagarde was asked if the financial institution was prepared to offer a rescue mission to the crisis-hit South American nation.
I think it will be fundamentally important because we play a catalyst role, and the amount of financing that will be needed is, significant. Our wallet will not be sufficient. We will open our wallet, we will put our brain to it, and we will make sure that our heart is in the right place to help the poorest and the most exposed people. But it's going to require significant financing from all the international community.
That was Christine Lagarde, Managing Director of the IMF. In other news now, Guyana's President David Granger has invited the chairman and commissioners of the Elections Commission, GCOM, to a meeting Friday morning. The invitation to Justice James Patterson and the commissioners was sent by Minister of State Joseph Harmon on Granger's behalf. It indicates that the president wants to consult with them on the electoral body's readiness to conduct the polls. The invitation was swiftly dispatched following Wednesday's meeting between President Granger and opposition leader Barrett Jagdeo. At that meeting, Jagdeo refused to discuss any issues unless Granger gave a definitive proposal on a date for elections that are constitutionally due later this month. And Granger committed to meeting with GCOM to discuss the earliest date by which general elections can be held. The Constitution of Guyana requires elections to be held within 90 days of the passage of a no-confidence motion or at a time agreed to by 2/3 of the National Assembly. That would make the general and regional elections due by March 19th, following the passage of a no confidence vote against government on December 21st last year. Meantime, the head of a recently formed political party is warning that Guyana is in danger of sliding into dictatorship if the deadline for elections is missed. Neil Marks of Newsroom Guyana reports on what leader of the Justice and Liberty Party, Lennox Schumann, believes are the consequences of the polls not being held this month.
Speaking at a press conference in Georgetown Wednesday, Lennox Schumann, a former Amerindian leader looking to become president, insisted that the Guyana Elections Commission, GCOM, must hold elections in accordance with the constitutional deadline. Elections are due by March 21st, following the passage of the no-confidence motion. The deadline cannot be extended unless the opposition agrees by way of a parliamentary vote. Government commissioners are insisting on a house-to-house registration to produce a new list ahead of elections, but that process can take up to 8 months and go well beyond the constitutional deadline for elections.
There's no provision in there that stipulates that GCOM has to go out and sanitize or not sanitize. What it says in the Constitution is that elections will be called within 90 days. And our view, and based on the legal guidance that we have, is that that condition is there regardless of what GCOM's status is. regardless of what the list says, whether it is sanitized or not sanitized, the Constitution demands that elections are held within 90 days. Now, what we have seen is a body that should be operating independently and with integrity has strayed from its mandate in that sense. They are not operating as a constitutional body. They seem to be taking partisan lines, and I say that without reservation.
Schuman warned of the consequences to the nation if elections are not held by the constitutional deadline.
When we start having de facto governments, what is going to happen is we are sliding into dictatorship. And I think that these things need to be dealt with very, very clearly, and it needs to be dealt with in the interest of the nation.
Meanwhile, Schuman reiterated that he is obliged to give up his Canadian citizenship in view of the constitutional stipulation that a person cannot be an elected member of the National Assembly and hold allegiance to a foreign power at the same time.
The St. Lucia government is facing criticism for its rush to abolish corporal punishment. The National Principals Association, the NPA, and the St. Lucia Teachers Union, SLTU, are questioning the decision to suspend corporal punishment from May this year and implementing a complete ban by May 1st next year. At a press conference on Wednesday, the heads of the principals and teachers' bodies said they were not consulted on the matter on the move.
I am still wondering why the rush, and I think what really triggered this press conference is the fact that at our annual principals conference that was held on the 28th of February and the 1st of March, the minister indicated that there was consultation with both the St. Lucia Teachers Union and the National Principals Association regarding the abolition of corporal punishment. And as I said previously, this consultation has not taken place.
SLTU's president, Julian Monrose, says the government should propose other methods of punishment to deal with indiscipline.
Corporal punishment has been part of the school system in St. Lucia from inception. If you're going to withdraw it, ideally, you would want to put things in place. Give the teachers, because you are withdrawing one method of punishment, you would want to give the teachers skills, training in alternative forms of punishment, because clearly bad behavior is a serious problem in our schools. And so teachers need to be given the necessary training in the alternative forms of punishment if you're going to be employed.
NPA President Pauline Antoine Prosper argues that there may be conflict in schools as corporal punishment is not abolished at home.
The church has a stake. We have church schools. We have parents. And if we are abolishing corporal punishment in schools, what happens at home? What happens with the children who are coming into our schools, who have stayed home or who have gone to preschool or daycare from 0 to 5 years old? They would be subject to corporal punishment in schools. The children who are coming to us are subject to corporal punishment in schools. So how do we abolish corporal punishment at the school? And it is not abolished at the societal level.
The NPA and SLTU call for a holistic approach on the matter. Government officials say the move is in keeping with St. Lucia's obligations to meet certain conventions and to protect students.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for the establishment of a special political mission to Haiti to take over from the UN mission for the support of justice when it ends on October 15th. Guterres says the new mission will help maintain support for the French-speaking Caribbean nation. He said it is clear that while measures are in place to handle internal threats to security and public order, the key to preventing relapses lies at the political level. Now, the UN Secretary General said the strategic assessment mission has already been discussed with President Jovenel Moïse. He noted that various configurations for this option were reviewed, ranging from a small political office to larger mission structures. Haitian authorities have expressed support for the deployment of a special political mission under Chapter 6 of the Charter of the United Nations designed to accompany current priorities in specific and strategic rule of law, security, human rights. Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, Trinidad and Tobago authorities report a record low in major crime during Carnival. Stay with us, more news after this.
Don't jump up to this non-stop turn and twist.
What up, it's your boy French Montana.
It's me, Smokey Robinson.
It's your boy Davido.
Hi, I'm Elme.
This is Bucci Banton, and I'll be performing live with the Shine Low Band in St. Kitts Music Festival.
Don't miss the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival, June 26th to June 30th, 2019. Featuring Bucci Banton, Smokey Robinson, Popcorn, and Elme. Also, Davido, French Montana, Fimba, Edwin Yearwood and Crossfire, Coco T, Skinny Fabulous, Charles Marshall, Charlie Black, Farmer Nappy, Nadia Batson, Infamous, New Vibes Band, and many, many more. It will be epic. It will be mind-blowing. It will be jaw-dropping. It will be awesome. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other. For more information and to buy tickets, log on to www.stkittsmusicfestival.com.
Viendo el océano al amanecer, no se enamore, ella lo quiere hacer, no quiere retroceder. All over the world, to every boy, every girl, yeah, yeah, spread it all over the world.
I swear I won't lie. Soon as you walk out the door, tell me why. I realize.
Champion, my girl, you a champion. My girl, you a my girl, you a champion. My girl, you a champion.
The Barbados Bay Jetty also offers expansive views, but more importantly, the reopening of the jetty after a decade and a half has significant economic benefits. Patricia Nicholson explains.
Truckers no longer need to journey 10 kilometers to transport material from the Studley Park quarry to the Scarborough port in preparation for shipment to Trinidad. Now it's a 1 kilometer drive to the Barbados Bay Jetty, where the material is placed on a barge for the sister isle.
Trinidad and Tobago's National Security Minister Stuart Young says the Twin Island Republic's just-ended carnival was the safest in recent years. As we hear in this report from CNC3's Janelle Bernard, he told a press conference on Wednesday that major crime during the celebrations hit a record low.
Carnival 2019, from a national security point of view, was the safest, if we use the statistics as our measurement, in many years.
The National Security Minister is boasting of a relatively safe carnival despite a few violent incidents.
The serious reported crimes for carnival period this year, 2019, fell to a record 12.
And though this year's carnival is being hailed as a success in terms of national security, the police commissioner says he is mindful of the challenges when it comes to the murder rate. He says there has been a 16% reduction, but he admits that more needs to be done.
It is very far from where we want to go, but as I mentioned, this is not to be seen or stated as a success, but just that we are going in the right direction.
But for now, the commissioner has commended the work of his officers, who he says heeded his call to show up for duty on Carnival Monday and Tuesday.
This has been the highest attendance of officers in the police service in years for Carnival Monday and Tuesday. On Monday, we gave the 95% attendance. I think it is now about 97 to 98%.
Health authorities in Jamaica have vowed to clamp down on unregistered nursing homes after the family of a resident of one such establishment discovered maggots in her mouth. The owner of the home in the parish of St. Catherine has been ordered to shut down operations within 7 days, and the enforcement branch of the parish's municipal corporation has vowed to take action against the establishment. We get the details in this report from TVJ News.
Like most others who saw TVJ's report on the condition of Mrs. Phelan Palmer Rainford, Councillor Rainier Benjamin of the Westchester Division in St. Catherine was outraged and promised immediate action from the municipal corporation's enforcement branch. We understand the owner of the nursing home in question has since been contacted by the corporation. The councillor at the same time is, however, warning members of the public to do checks when searching for a nursing home for their loved ones. For him, ignoring the warning signs brings risks. But what are some of the signs? For starters, the nursing home must have a sign with its name that is prominently displayed on the premises. This is important because a sign would have attracted enforcement teams or health inspectors.
If they have taken somebody there as a resident of the nursing home, they'll be doing that at their own risk because it's not registered as a commercial entity. And if it's not registered as for such an entity, there will be no proper inspection or monitoring or supervision of that place. And we at the municipal council here, we have regular interaction with places like the St. Catherine Health Department, who have their health inspectors who do inspection of facilities like these to make sure that they are up to the required standard for operating homes like those.
His views were echoed by the family. They don't want anyone else to experience the trauma they're still trying to overcome from seeing their mother with maggots in her mouth.
So do your investigation, call ministry. Is this home registered? Is this safe to put my family member there? You know, you will probably get some, because most of them are in the communities. So you probably can find somebody in the community that you can either call one side and either question about it. Have you heard anything happening over there, you know?
As for Mrs. Phelan Rainford, she was taken to hospital where medical practitioners extracted the maggots from her mouth and cleaned her up. She is still in hospital. Her family says when she is discharged, she will be placed in a registered nursing home. Her family shared these pictures with us of her in her 40s and in better times. However, 10 years later, with the onset of Parkinson's disease, heart problems, and strokes, she's bedridden and helpless.
Still in Jamaica, Agriculture Minister Audley Shaw says stronger methods of coastal surveillance will be implemented to mitigate poaching in Jamaica's waters and protect the island's fisheries. This follows the recent interception and detention of 57 fishermen from the Dominican Republic who were caught fishing illegally along the Pedro banks. The poachers were reportedly held with more than 15,000 pounds of conchs and other sea wildlife. Now, in a bid to prevent the extinction of the conch in Jamaica's waters, Shaw has implemented a ban on conch fishing. We get more in this TVJ News report.
Poaching has been a long-standing problem affecting Jamaica's fishing industry, so much so that a decision was made this year to ban conch fishing until January 31, 2020.
In fact, last week, 2 vessels were held out somewhere in the Pedro Bank area that were doing illegal fishing from the Dominican Republic. Our Coast Guard people have held them. They have those vessels right now.
He also noted that with the ban in place, there is now a need for greater policing of Jamaican waters to deter poachers.
I want to use the opportunity of this interview to send a message to my colleague ministers in the Dominican Republic and Honduras and ask them, please tell their fisher folk to stay away from our Jamaican waters. Fish in your waters, leave ours alone and leave our conch alone.
The ban, which took effect on March 1, is expected to give the depleted conch population time to replenish.
And ahead in Newsline Sport, a cricket West Indies presidential hopeful charges that the administration has lost focus. The details after the break.
Welcome to the WWG 2019 War with Germs.
The Oxitec antimicrobial glove is wasting no time, folks.
Quite right, Tammy. I see no way for the germs duo to come back from this.
Oh, what a slam. What a slam. Oxitec is the winner in less than a minute. WWG champion of the world. Find our champion at www.psci.biz or give us a call at 417-0777.
Let's jump up to this non-stop turn and twist.
What up? It's your boy French Montana.
It's me, Smokey Robinson.
It's your boy David Doe.
Hi, I'm Elme.
This is Buju Banton, and I'll be performing live with the Shiloh Band in St. Kitts Music Festival.
Don't miss the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival, June 26th to June 30th, 2019, featuring Buju Banton, Smokey Robinson, Popcorn, and Elme. Also, Davido, French Montana, Fimba, Edwin Yearwood and Crossfire, Coco T, Skinny Fabulous, Charles Marshall, Charlie Black, Farmer Nappy, Nadia Batson, Infamous, New Vibes Band, and many, many more. It will be epic. It will be mind-blowing. It will be jaw-dropping. It will be awesome. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other. For more information and to buy tickets, log on to www.stkitsmusicfestival.com.
Incumbent Cricket West Indies President Dave Cameron and his administration have lost their focus in the last 6 years. That's the view of Cameron's challenger, Ricky Skerritt, who says the board is embroiled in a number of issues with stakeholders of the game while the key players suffer. Now, speaking at an online media conference from Jamaica, the presidential hopeful insisted that the focus must be on the future of the game.
Things that jumps out is the fact that Cricket West Indies is fighting too many battles with too many stakeholders. The only battles we should be fighting of any sort of contention should be on the field of play. The grassroots cricket, the development requirements, the coaching development, the high performance system, all of the key ingredients that are necessary, that are essential for building what I would call a sustainable approach to cricket development so that we are producing over the next several years and into the foreseeable future, all of the future young players and all of the future young West Indians who love cricket and who are proud of cricket, whether they have become stars or not. Unfortunately, Cricket West Indies has lost its focus on cricket.
Now, Skerritt also took aim at some of the decisions made by the current administration. One of those is the closure of the High Performance Center in Barbados. Skerritt believes it was a fundamental mistake.
The High Performance Center that exists in Antigua right now is not anywhere at the level that it was broken away from Barbados. We want to build the high performance system so that we have multiple opportunities at supporting young developing cricketers and preparing cricketers for battle abroad. So Barbados will have to be, with the resources that are there, with the resources that have already been funded heavily by a well-meaning, good corporate citizen, along with the university's own investment and some investment from Cricket West Indies, we have to rekindle that. There's no doubt in my mind about that. As soon as the opportunity comes, we will sit down with the key stakeholders, including the main sponsor, Sagicor, and see if we can move forward in a way that is beneficial to all concerned.
Well, Cameron will make his final pitch for another term at the helm of CWI when he engages the public in a town meeting mere days before the election. The meeting is scheduled for March 21st at the Kensington Cricket Club. A release on Thursday stated that Cameron is expected to present a summary of CWI's achievements and share how some of the suggestions from previous public sessions have been integrated into the organization's plans. Cameron says he wants the board to integrate the public in its decision-making process. Now, it's not the first time the Jamaican-born cricket administrator has engaged the public about the regional game. Late in 2015 and 2016, he and Vice President Emmanuel Nansan hosted meetings in St. Lucia, Dominica, St. Kitts, Nevis, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Antigua and Barbuda, and in Jamaica. Staying with cricket, left-arm seamer Obed McCoy has been called up for the remaining 2 matches in the T20 series against England. The 22-year-old has made 2 appearances for West Indies, both on the one-day tour of India last year, but has never turned out in a T20 international. He has taken 4 wickets. McCoy featured in 2 first-class matches for Windward Islands Volcanoes this season, but with little success, managing a solitary wicket. West Indies lost the opening T20 by 4 wickets on Tuesday in St. Lucia and will look to level the series when they take on England in the second match at Warner Park in St. Kitts on Friday. And switching sports now, although he was instrumental in leading Jamaica's Reggae Girls to the World Cup, head coach Hugh Menzies is yet to be paid since taking up the top job. In this report from Karen Madden, we hear that the former Florida-based football director is hoping that the issue of contracts will be settled in the near future.
On the heels of a string of wins last year and with the CONCACAF League of Nations on the horizon, National Senior Men's head coach Theodore Tapper Whitmore resigned after months of wrangling with the local governing body over his contract. Sports Minister Olivia Babsy-Grange convened a meeting with the stakeholders, following which Whitmore, the former national player, took his resignation off the table. But the problem of coaches and the salary hasn't gone away, as after working for several months without pay, a contract is yet to be settled on in order for women's head coach Hugh Menzies and assistant coach Lorne Donaldson to be paid. Menzies told TVJ Sports that since the Reggae Girls' qualification for the World Cup, they have submitted their contract conditions as well as those for the players to the JFF. In the conditions, the Florida-based coach insisted that the contracts must have continuity beyond the current campaign.
We proposed a contract. JFF has the contracts. We're just thinking if they're going to accept it or counter offer it, then we can sit down and negotiate. But we need to get this thing over with.
That's the sports. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's just that simple, isn't it, Dr. Tosa? If these kids know that you care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. What they said is so on point. The first thing these students need to know is that we care about them. And a lot of times they sense that we don't. And there is a larger system, because they were also right about the fact that if there's things going on at home that's troubling them, then they won't come to school ready.
So I've added the cinnamon, the cardamom, and the salt. So you just want to let this come to a nice boil. Now is where you want to add your milk. I'm going to add my 2 cups of whole milk. My cup of evaporated milk. And for now, I'm just going to be adding 2 tablespoons of condensed milk.
Again, the major developments of this day: the IMF ready to rescue Venezuela's ailing economy. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports round the clock, log on to CarnaNews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching. Have yourselves a good night.